With 1 month left in the legislative session, lawmakers still have a lot of work to do. There's still a $7 billion budget to hammer out. Speaker of the House T.W. Shannon says a deal is close. As those negotiations proceeded, the legislature moved forward on a number of key issues, including restructuring the state's tax code and making major changes in the way Oklahoma deals with injured workers.
To working with the House and the Senate to pursue additional reforms to lower the costs for businesses in our state and to protect our injured workers.
When the session began in February, Governor Mary Fallin spelled out several items considered crucial to her legislative agenda. Among them, overhauling the workers' compensation system, reducing the top income tax rate, and maintaining the state's infrastructure, including Oklahoma's crumbling capital. And this week, a plan emerged.
Today, we're here to announce that the House, the Senate, and the Governor's office has finalized plans on how to address each of these issues.
The governor and leaders in the House and Senate reached a deal to reduce the state's top income tax rate from 5.25% to 5% beginning January of 2015.
And although the tax cut does not take place immediately, passing a tax cut bill this year sends a signal to our businesses and to our Oklahomans that unlike the federal government and frankly many other states that are increasing their taxes, that Oklahoma is committed to a reduction in its income tax rate.
The measure also calls for spending up to $120 million to repair the state capitol. The tax cut plan quickly ran into opposition from Senate Minority Leader Sean Burridge.
This is a purely political move so we can say that we've cut taxes going into an election year.
Burridge pointed out the cut amounts to $7 a month for the average taxpayer and questioned the timing of the legislation.
We have all next year to talk about this, 12 months from now, when we know what the revenue picture will look like for the state of Oklahoma. Why are we doing this now?
Democrats also raised questions about the measure's constitutionality. Senator Tom Ivester argued combining subjects such as capital repairs with a tax cut, a practice known as log rolling, is prohibited by the state constitution.
Does the tax cut bear any relation to the repair of the Capitol? Are they interlinked? If the tax cut doesn't happen or the trigger doesn't pass, does it affect whether the Capitol is repaired?
Senator Clark Jolly maintains the bill does not violate the Constitution's single subject rule.
The bill apportions income tax revenue. That is the single subject. I have complete confidence that this bill meets constitutional muster because the single subject is the apportionment of how are we going to apportion our income tax revenues.
Susan Paddock joined several Democrats in calling the tax cut fiscally irresponsible.
Government is supposed to serve in an efficient manner, and I think we have gotten to that point. We're trying to be very efficient, but further cuts are going to take away those programs and services, which ultimately could shortchange the future of many of our citizens.
Senator John Ford argued cutting taxes has historically led to revenue growth. Ford said in 2004, Oklahoma's tax rate was 7% and appropriated revenue totaled $5 billion.
You move forward to the year 2009, that 7% had been reduced to 5.5%. We had eliminated the estate tax, and the $5 billion appropriated dollars had increased 40% to $7 billion.
The tax cut measure passed by a vote of 32 to 14 and returns to the House for a vote that could send the bill on to the governor. On the House side, representatives cleared Senate Bill 1062, making major changes in the way workers' compensation is handled. Representative Josh Cockcroft was among several Republicans who argued the current workers' comp system hampers efforts to lure new business to the state.
But the question that we need to be asking is what is going to make our state more competitive with our neighboring states? What is going to drive the costs down? That over everything needs to be our focus.
Democratic Representative Jeannie McDaniel countered employers consider a number of issues when deciding where to locate.
When I talk to businesses that think about moving here, they're looking at quality of life, where we rate in education, colleges, and things like that. I've never had one single business, and of course I may not talk to many, who ask me about how our workers' comp system's working.
Democrat Emily Virgin argued it will be the workers who will pay the price of changing the system.
The savings come from the pockets of the injured workers and their families. Those people who don't have a lobbyist up here, those everyday hardworking people. So I don't think it's hard to figure out who this is going to hurt. The injured and their families.
Democrats also objected to a provision allowing companies to opt out of the system if they offer an alternative plan. Texas is the only state which currently offers an opt-out provision, but Republican Representative Leslie Osborne says Oklahoma's plan will be different.
You have to have a base of the exact same or better benefits than would be allowed in the admin system, and you have to have the same set of appeals for your employees and the same guarantee funds. That's what makes us different from an opt-out system, and that's why we really are just an alternative option.
The measure passed along party lines by a vote of 74 to 24. If the Senate approves the changes made by the House, the bill will be headed for the governor's desk.